Hi, my name is Matthew Longo, and I'm an assistant professor in political science, and I teach in the IRO program. I'm here now to tell you a little bit about it. So you're probably thinking, why politics? Or do I even want to study politics? Or even, what is politics? So I'm here to give you a little bit of a sense of what we think at IRO that word means, because of course that's our subject. You'll have lots of opportunity to study the politics that you immediately associate. Think of parties in parliament, or the UN, organizations like that. But politics can mean lots of things. It can also mean social movements. Take for example something like Black Lives Matter and the way that it proliferated on social media. That's obviously politics. But what if you even go further, right? We all watch TV shows and movies. Take something like Severance, right? Or Succession, just to give a few contemporary TV shows. These are obviously also politics. See, for us, politics is a subject, and the subject is really broad. It fits under a large umbrella of different kinds of theories and concepts. What we do at IRO that's unique or special is how we look at the subject of politics, because our particular gaze is scientific, right? The idea is to say that we take the scholarly field of political science and teach you as a student how to look at politics also scientifically. For example, let's say you're reading the newspaper and you see a poll. Aren't you interested in understanding how to read it, how to critique it, how to know exactly what it's saying, or maybe if it's leading you in the wrong direction, for example? That's the kind of thing you'll learn at IRO. So you'll get a broad understanding of politics alongside a very particular scholarly look at the field of political science, therefore mixing rigorous study with, we hope, really interesting empirical examples. So a second natural question is, why Leiden? Right? Here you are. If you come to IRO, you're in Leiden University. We think we have a lot to offer. On the one hand, it's a very highly ranked university with cutting-edge instruction and instructors. Our student body comes from around the world, so do our teachers. For example, I'm an American, right? But I work and teach in Leiden and The Hague. We have this incredibly diverse global classroom, but also we have a really global location, which is that classes at Leiden University in the IRO program take place in The Hague. The Hague is one of the great global cities of the world, filled with international organizations. The amount of things going on, events, for example, speakers that we can draw from, makes it an incredible, unique classroom experience to study our subject, meaning politics, and particularly international politics. So we've spoken a little bit about why IRO, why you might want to study politics with us, but only really in a level of generality. Maybe you're interested in the particular feeling of what it would feel like to be a student, like what kind of structure we have, and how it would actually exist in a year-by-year basis. I'm here to give you a little bit of an overview, obviously very bird's-eye view. If you want very specifics about the programs available, all that's online. But I'll tell you a little bit about what you would expect as a student. So it's a 3-year program, and it's divided into 2 semesters, 2 blocks per semester. The reason that matters is after each block, we have exams and assignments. And the 3 years progress in a sequential way, which I'll explain. So the first year really is general. It's what is political science. And so in the first semester of the first year, you're going to take all the really big introductory courses. You need to know about what international relations is, right? What are international organizations? What is world politics? Really big, meaty subjects that will train you into the discipline. In addition, you'll have academic skills. Academic skills are intimate setting, small room, but that just teach you more about the way of being a student, right? So, for example, not just what is politics, but how to argue politics, how to debate about politics, and ultimately how to write about politics. So there's a juxtaposition of these 2 kinds of study. Now, beginning in the second semester of the first year, you already begin to focus a little bit away from subjects like what is international politics towards slightly more narrow view, towards what is comparative politics, or what about the politics of the EU, right, or global history. You begin to get a little bit more nuance into the view of the field, but still staying at a level of generality. In the second year, we start to advance a bit further and get a bit more refined in our study, in the sense that those large subjects are instead traded in for more specific ones. So in fact, rather than have something like, what is international politics? You'll have international politics with a particular regional focus, for example. Or, to give you a class that I teach a class on political philosophy. So maybe you're interested in international politics, but care about something like human rights. Obviously a moral dimension. You'll have those kinds of opportunities in the second year to really expand upon what you learned in the first year along a set of themes. You'll learn about environmental politics, you'll learn about security, you'll learn about rights, all those kinds of things. Essential to understanding politics, but no longer what is the discipline, now looking a bit more focused. It's the third year we find that our course really takes off, which is that's when you start to get your own field of view. What does that mean? It means you can take electives, choose your own particular subjects, and you also get to do a bachelor's thesis. This is a full semester-long program that will lead to a long document, ultimately 8,000 words of your own writing, on a subject of your choosing. It's a small setting, you work with a particular professor, and you get a really nuanced view. So for example, if you care about the politics of the EU and want to go further, maybe you want to write about far-right politics, right? Or the rise of populism in Europe, or the rise of populism in Europe in particular, in Italy, in the present. You can get as narrow as you want, as focused as you want, with the idea being that whereas in the beginning we teach you what the discipline is, by the end you really are crafting the field on your own. That year you also have opportunities for internships and electives and so forth. So just to clarify, we are a full-time program. It's 40 hours per week. That means that you'll have obviously lots of class hours, but also plenty of time for self-study, which means reading, and it means also using all the academic skills we've taught you, and ideally debating with your friends. So that's our program, but you probably have a normal nagging question, which is what comes next? And I'm here to tell you that we actually have had years of students come out and do really interesting things coming out of the program with the education we give. A lot of people work in government, for example. It's natural given that we're in The Hague. People go into international organizations, for example. People go into media, they go into finance, they go lots of different kinds of pursuits. I can tell you, having taught in IRO for a number of years, I'm still in touch with lots of my students doing fabulous things. I have students making documentaries, for example, about politics, and I can see them use the material that we learned in class. It's an incredible program precisely for that reason. We think we train you well, but also because of where you're located and the opportunities available in The Hague, we think we pave the way for lots of different kinds of exciting futures. To which I would add, we also set up a almost direct pathway to continuing your education at Leiden through the master's program. All the big subjects of politics we cover, for example, about democracy, for example, international politics, about nationalism, and including a track in Dutch on Dutch politics. Also for those that want to stay in the policy-making realm, we also have a master's option in The Hague. So we think our program doesn't just set you up for lots of options around the world. In particular, it allows you to keep studying at Leiden if you like the excellent education we offer you. So we hope you find our program interesting, and maybe you're wondering, how do I apply? I will give you a little bit of an outline here. Obviously, detailed information is available online, but maybe it's helpful if I just talk you through a bit of the procedures. So to start, obviously there are requirements. It's a competitive program. What that means is you have to have a diploma that's pre-university. Most likely that will mean high school. You also have to have an exam that certifies your proficiency in English. It's important as all of IRO is held in English. And you have to show that you are able to, that you have studied math onto the ability to be able to take statistics when it comes in our program. So these are the basic requirements. What's important to note is that we have a numerus fixus. It's a competitive program. What that means is there's a limited amount of places, and thus it's very important that you understand the deadlines to apply. You'll notice to my side is the whole deadline scheme laid out. Just please be alert. These are inflexible because, of course, we'd love you to apply. We'd love you to come. And so just make sure you apply on time. We hope you find our program interesting and this presentation informative. If you want to learn more, there's a lot of avenues for you to do that. We offer open days and experience days. We invite you to come on campus, to meet students, to get a real sense of what the university experience feels like. And obviously, All this is available online. You can see the website here where you can ask questions and learn all about these different opportunities. That's the end of our video. We thank you for listening and we hope you apply.